Welcome to the Explainer. If you've ever led a team, you are intimately familiar with that sudden sinking feeling in your stomach when a top performer gives their 2 weeks notice. Because an empty seat? It's not just a blank spot on an org chart, it's a bleeding wound in your daily operations. Every single day that key position sits empty, the pressure completely mounts on your existing team, important projects stall out, and your big strategic goals just slip further and further out of reach. But here's the catch. The sheer panic to fill that seat can actually lead to even more disastrous outcomes. So today, we're going to break down the source material on the strategic hiring framework, and we're looking specifically at how you can achieve both incredible velocity and absolute precision in your hiring process. Section 1, the speed versus quality trap. So we need to start by confronting a very real dilemma every hiring manager faces. Moving too fast destroys team morale, but moving too slow actively bleeds revenue. Let's look at the left side of the screen here. Speed without quality equals chaos. Imagine you panic hire. You just grab the very first person with a halfway decent resume who interviews passably well simply because you need a warm body in the room right now. What happens? Well, they make mistakes, they clash with your company culture, and suddenly your top performers get incredibly frustrated because they have to keep pausing their own jobs to fix the new hire's errors. That is the definition of chaos. Now flip over to the right side. Quality without speed equals lost clients. Let's say you decide you're only going to hire the absolute perfect 1 in a million unicorn candidate. So you wait 3 months, then 6 months. Meanwhile, your current staff is burning out doing the jobs of 2 people. Critical deadlines are missed, and those premium clients you work so hard to get, they definitely notice the drop in service and they leave. We have to recognize right out of the gate that both of these extremes are fatal to your business. Section 2. Speed means efficient systems. To solve this brutal balancing act, the source material is very explicit. Hiring fast does not mean cutting corners. Cutting corners is skipping reference checks. Cutting corners is making a massive, gut-feeling decision after a totally unstructured 15-minute chat. Instead, actual speed is achieved by having incredibly efficient systems in place. Think of a high-speed bullet train. It doesn't hit record-breaking speeds because the engineers ripped out the brakes or just removed the steering wheel, right? It achieves those speeds because the tracks are perfectly engineered, incredibly precise, and completely frictionless. So, if you want to hire fast, you have to build a system that keeps your hiring train safely on the rails, moving at maximum velocity without shaking apart. And that is exactly what we are going to build today. Section 3. Sourcing and screening faster. The crucial point here is that you absolutely cannot afford to start from scratch. If you wait until an employee actually gives their notice to begin looking for a replacement, man, you are already months behind. You must constantly maintain an active candidate pool to prevent those immediate bottlenecks. And this means leveraging multiple pipelines continuously. First up, referrals. Your current high performers likely know other high performers, so build a system that constantly incentivizes them to bring top talent right into your orbit. Second, social media. You should be actively engaging with industry professionals online, building an employer brand that makes people really want to work for you way before you even have a job posting up. And third, job boards. But I don't mean just passively posting and praying. You need to actively mine them. By treating recruitment like a continuous sales pipeline, you prevent immediate bottlenecks when a sudden vacancy hits. You aren't starting from zero, you're starting with a warmed-up bench. Section 4. Structuring the interview process. All right, so once you've got that active pool, how do you manage them? Here is a brilliant 3-step methodology drawn straight from our source framework. Step 1. Pre-screen applicants before interviews. Literally, do not waste an hour of your executive team's precious time on a candidate who doesn't even meet the baseline requirements. Use brief phone screens or asynchronous video questions to just filter out the noise. Step 2. Use structured interview templates. I can't emphasize this enough. This is an absolute game changer for precision. Because if you just walk into an interview and vaguely ask, "So, tell me about yourself," the conversation is going to wander. You're going to end up hiring based on who you personally like, not who is actually competent. Structured templates ensure every single candidate is asked the exact same questions in the exact same order. And that gives you objective, apples-to-apples data to make a rapid, confident decision. And step 3, automate follow-ups with candidates. Look, high-tier talent doesn't sit around waiting. If you leave them in the dark for a week, your competitor is going to snatch them right up. By mapping all of this out step by step, you create a straight, high-speed track for top-tier talent. Section 5. Automating the final steps. Even with a flawless interview process, there is literally nothing more painful than losing the perfect candidate at the 1-yard line because of totally avoidable administrative friction. Imagine you've made the offer, they've enthusiastically accepted, and then crickets. Your internal HR team spends 2 agonizing weeks trying to manually verify their employment history. To maintain your momentum and keep that high-speed train moving, the framework dictates that you must offload and streamline background checks using trusted vendors. Basically, you are buying speed and security. By integrating a trusted third-party vendor directly into your hiring workflow, you completely remove that final administrative hurdle. You don't sacrifice security. In fact, specialized vendors are often way more precise, but you drastically reduce the time to hire, which allows your new team member to hit the ground running immediately. Section 6. Mastering the hiring balance.
I really want you to burn this coaching insight into your memory. We saw this equation at the very start, but now, armed with a framework, we actually understand how to solve it. Mastering the strategic hiring framework isn't about choosing between velocity and precision. It is not an either-or scenario. It's about recognizing that balance is key. And that balance isn't some mystical state of mind. It is the direct, mechanical result of implementing the very systems we just reviewed. Active pools, rigorous pre-screening, structured interview templates, and streamlined verifications. These are the practical tools that allow you to operate fast enough to save your clients and precisely enough to keep chaos completely out of your culture.
I'm going to leave you with this final thought so you can audit your own business today. I want you to look closely at your current workflow. When you inevitably need to hire someone next week, are you relying on a frictionless, engineered track that absolutely guarantees both velocity and precision, or are you just ripping out the brakes, cutting corners, and bracing for an impending derailment? The choice between building a hyper-efficient system and embracing total chaos is entirely yours. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I highly encourage you to start laying down that track today.